This is The Extra Point, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast, sponsored by your Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, let's talk a little Phoenix Suns. Beal or no Beal? Let's talk to a man who has an article up right now on Bright Side of the Sun, the one, the only John Voita III zooms in here to the Extra Point podcast. I think he's been broadcasting nonstop for the past 54 days talking about the Suns offseason. Am I close to the number on that one?
Yeah, it's how many days has it been since April 13th? I mean, that's what it is, Mark. That the moment that we celebrated the end of that season, we began in our heads trying to reconstruct what this team would look like. And here we are now, and we still have a lot of decisions to go.
Hope meter for 2025, 2026. Where is your hope meter if in the meter in the middle is like, average to good to great, cancel your vacation plans in late June?
Yeah, championship-wise, my hope meter is probably at like a 2. I don't think that what the Suns have done relative to the rest of the Western Conference and how a lot of other teams have gotten better, it's not very high. But if you talk about a team that has the potential to at least be competitive, which is something over the last 2 years, this team wasn't. My hope meter's at like a 7. I'm not canceling any plans next June because I know I'll be here in Arizona sweating, not watching the Suns in the championship game, the finals, or even potentially the deep playoff run. But I do have some excitement about some of the direction this team is taking, developing an identity, hitting all those buzzwords relative to like alignment and culture. We're starting to see the fruition of that come to light. And the hope is in the long term, in 3 or 4 years, we're canceling some of those plans in June because the Suns are in the finals.
Oh, I'm drinking the alignment Kool-Aid big time. I just thought
hashtag the alignment.
Yes.
It used to be the timeline. It's hashtag the alignment.
That's
now we're making this happen.
That's
Mark.
a name for a new podcast. I think we have one. Maybe you and I can start one. As far as the Bradley Beal situation, do you think he will be part of the alignment, the vision, and the roster for 2025, 2026?
I don't think he will be. I think that there's news that came out today that the Suns are in talks in going down the avenue of buying him out. And if they buy him out, now that the precedent has been set by what Milwaukee did with Damian Lillard, if you buy him out and you stretch him over an extended period of time, 5 years in this case, it really helps your cap in the now. And reports have been coming out all summer long that Bradley Beal wasn't going to be a part of this team. And now it kind of seems like that's coming to light. And it's a really interesting debate, whether or not you want short-term greed or long-term greed to kind of take over. But taking Bradley Beal out of the equation, you're going to have a lot of decisions to make once that cap space frees up. But I don't know if he's going to be here. I don't think he's going to be here. Although I oddly kind of want him here now, which is strange because all summer I've been beating the drum of we need to get rid of Beal. But now that it's on the precipice of potentially happening, I'm like, well, I don't know. Like maybe we just deal with him for a couple of years. He's off the books, and then you're clean, you're clean and free of it. Because again, I don't think we're winning a championship next year, or potentially the next one. So why do we hamper ourselves with $22 million of dead cap space for 5 years simply to double down on a bad decision that was made 2 summers ago?
Yeah, good guy, good player, massive salary. But if you take his salary and stretch it out over 5 years, what does that do to the Suns' ability to put together a championship team?
It makes it very hard. It doesn't make it impossible because the cap's going to go up every year, compounding upon itself. This upcoming offseason, it's $154.6 million. It's going to rise by 7% next year. The following year, that remains to be seen, but it has the potential to continue to grow while that cap figure that Bradley Beal earned or will be bought out for will remain at $22.2 million. I think that that's the best case scenario for Bradley Beal. Worst case scenario for the Suns is $22.2 million. So you got to think about that in terms of a contract and a player. Grayson Allen makes about $16 million. So this upcoming season, you're giving up a player who's not playing for you. Dead cap doesn't play on your basketball team. You're giving up a player worth more than Grayson Allen potentially to not be on your team. As time progresses, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt as bad by year 5. But again, in year 5, now we're looking at Devin Booker. He's 32 years old by that time, 33. So that's, again, short-term greed, long-term greed. That's what Brian Gregory, Matt Ishbia, Josh Bartelstein, that's what they're weighing right now as they try to decide if this is the correct path they want to take.
Benefits for him being on the roster mentoring young players versus the negative effects of having him on the roster and maybe keeping other players from getting valuable minutes and experience.
Yeah, that's the decision, right? You look at the way that this team is constructed right now, it's very shooting guard heavy. And we almost have to take ourselves back to that conversation 2 summers ago when he first came here and we didn't have point guard play. And it was him and Devin Booker who were the backcourt for the Phoenix Suns. And we adopted the term positionless basketball. And that's kind of the way that basketball is going these days, isn't it, Mark? It's a lot of combo guards disguised as two guards or as point guards, I'm sorry. And so you look at his ability to inject himself into this lineup, knowing that Jalen Green is coming over in the Kevin Durant transaction, knowing that Jalen Green is somewhat of a younger version of Bradley Beal. He's young, he's athletic, he has the ability to put pressure on the rim, he's quick, and it's almost positive to have him on this team to mentor Jalen Green and how to become the best version of himself. But then, of course, as you mentioned, you pull Bradley Beal out of this equation, you open up a roster spot, and you open up the possibility of potentially bringing in a point guard, maybe even a seasoned point guard in like a Chris Paul, who can assist in providing quality facilitation. And that was the issue with that team 2 years ago. The facilitation just wasn't there. Now, if you go back and you look at some of the advanced stats in 1,111 minutes that Bradley Beal and Devin Booker played on the court together, they were plus 176. That script got flipped last year when they played together in probably about 50 more minutes. They were negative 136. So it's like, well, what changed? Well, Tyus Jones came to town because we needed a facilitator, because the fourth quarters in that season 2 years ago were abysmal when either Booker or Beal wasn't playing. And what happens? Tyus Jones comes in, gets promised to start. We go into small ball lineups. We get eviscerated on the defensive end. And now here we are. So what's the right way? You can't have Bradley Beal, Jalen Green, and Devin Booker all starting because you don't want Devin Booker to play the small forward position. You don't want to take your prime player and put him out of position. Again, it's a disservice to him during his prime, but you also are taxed with that decision. Well, how do we navigate this? And one of the ways that you could do that is by taking Bradley Beal out of that equation.
Point God or point book?
Point God is the way I would like to go. I think we've seen a lot of point book. It all depends on if you get rid of Bradley Beal, who do you have come in? Is it point God? Is it Malcolm Brogdon? Is it Russell Westbrook? I mean, there's a bunch of old names that you can kind of kick around the yard and fall in love with potentially. But I'm not super against point book. I just think that, again, you have to put him in a position to be successful. And by the way that the Suns are aligning, there's that buzzword again, but the way that they're aligning by having big, long, athletic defenders behind him, he proved last year that he could be a quality facilitator, a career high in assists per game. The scoring average dip, but there's other reasons for that. But I think if you put him in a position to be successful and he can be out there with potentially a Jalen Green, and on the defensive end, he can gamble a little bit because you're going to have behind him Dylan Brooks, Ryan Dunn, maybe Rasheer Fleming, Kaman Malawak, Mark Williams, Nick Richards. I mean, you have a bunch of long, athletic guys behind them where they can gamble a little bit on defense. So I'm not opposed to the idea of point book, but I think we all have a soft spot in our heart for CP3, right? Having the point guard back in town isn't something that I would be against. I like him. Bring him back. He's one of the only retreads I'll actually enjoy having back in town.
I would put him in the Ring of Honor the moment he walks back into the building because I sat through the 10-year playoff hiatus. It felt like 40, and things changed the moment he got back to town. That's why I think this is worth a gamble. And if you're just gonna, wave and stretch and just pay Bradley Beal not to be here, I think you take a shot at seeing if there's a little more magic there from Chris Paul, some dust that he can sprinkle on this franchise to get it pointed back in the right direction.
And provide some leadership as well. And you have to get rid of Beal so Chris Paul can have the number 3 again, right?
Fair. Yes. What would you do? Yeah.
CP33, you got to ask Alvin Adams to once again unretire his number like he did for Grant Hill. Like, we don't want to go through all that drama.
Right.
A battle royale for the number 3 doesn't need to happen.
And Alvin Adams just retired. He's living his best life out in California. We got to get him on the podcast because, how many Suns have scored 30 points in an NBA Finals game? You got Book, you got Alvin Adams, and the rest of the list is short when you call roll in that class. As far as bigs go for the Suns, Brian Gregory talked a lot about two bigs when it is introductory press conference. How much do you think we'll see two bigs on the floor next year for the Suns?
I think the possibility is very high, especially considering the fact that we've kept Nick Richards. That was one of the offseason free agency, wonderments that we had is what are we going to do with Nick Richards? $5 million a year. You can't get a lot really for him on the market unless you're just trying to dump him to get salary relief and draft capital, which I'm not necessarily opposed against. But you just brought in Kaman Malawach, who's the rookie 18-year-old. He's going to be 19 when the season starts. Kid from Duke, who's just a monster and has a great motor on him. And then you got Mark Williams on the same day in a transaction with the Charlotte Hornets, who's oft injured. And I think that it's smart for the Suns to keep and roster Nick Richards, because if Williams gets injured, as he often does, plays 40% of his games, you still have quality backup, big depth available. And I think you can get strategic with it. And it's one of those weird and interesting things. Again, with Jordan Ott now, the head coach, you take a look at how the Cleveland Cavaliers were constructed as he was there as assistant coach, very similar to kind of how they're building out with Phoenix. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, two guys who were undersized combo guards in the backcourt, but in the front courts, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. So I definitely think that Ott is going to want to experiment with that. He's going to want to put Malawach out there at the 4 and Williams at the 5 just to give us length. And it's something, I mean, Mark, when have we ever had size in Phoenix? Honestly, like since Rodney Rogers and Antonio McDyess were here, we've
Amari and Shaq maybe, but they were never on the floor at the same time, and Shaq was in the stands most of the time.
He was diving all over the place. I mean, we just historically we're not a big franchise.
We got Pat Burke and Eric Piakowski on the fitness club, the guys that never played. Yeah, the backups. Remember, D'Antoni would play 6 guys. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jake Sokolidis. Yeah, when Pat Burke come in, you'd like light up a cigar because you knew the game was over because that's the only time you would ever see him.
Yeah.
So historically, we're just not big. So we have an opportunity now with these guys, with other acquisitions, to just put some size on the court. And I think it'll be fun to watch this team experiment with that size next season.
Favorite son of all time, Pat Burke or Bol, and why?
Pat Burke. He's Irish. Go Irish.
Oh, there we go. Hey,
I'm also a Notre Dame fan.
My God. Okay, so Dodgers, Notre Dame. At least the Suns. I don't mind Notre Dame.
And the Cardinals.
Yeah,
I love my Cardinals.
So what do you do? What do you do when the Dodgers play the D-backs? Is that
go Dodgers? I bleed blue. Pantone 294, the prettiest color in all of the colors.
It is. Dodger Stadium is such a great place to go watch.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I miss seeing Justin Turner play. Great swing. Did beat the Diamondbacks there in the playoffs a couple years ago, a long time ago, 2017. Was over there for that one, and then you grew up in Southern California. So did you watch the Gibby? Were you there for the 88 World Series?
Oh yeah.
Were you at any of those games?
I was born in Phoenix, and then I moved to California because my dad went to Loyola Marymount. And from ages 3 to 12, I lived out there. In 88, I was 6 years old, watching Gibby with my mom and my dad hit the home run. I mean, it was one of those moments that is burned into your brain, that experience. And it was also my first introduction to the Dodgers. I'd gone to games that season with my parents in the next couple seasons. So I grew up going to Dodger Stadium. So when I moved back to Phoenix in 1994, 4 years before the Diamondbacks came here, even though the Dodgers were horrible in the 90s, but I loved me some Eric Karros and Darryl Strawberry and Eric Davis, Brett Butler. I mean, I love those teams. But we didn't get a team until 1998. And so like, I've always liked the Diamondbacks, but I bleed Dodger blue. I went to games 2, 6, and 7 of the World Series with my mom. Shout out, Mom. Thanks for doing that. You spent a lot of money on your credit cards, and I'll never forget it. It was the most amazing experience ever, but still I bleed Dodger blue. And she always is ashamed of me for that.
And what's Mom's name?
Sally.
Has Sally been on Bright Side of the Sun? Has there been a reason to bring Sally on to talk about the Suns?
We haven't brought her onto the podcast yet, on the Suns Jam Session podcast. Haven't done it yet, although she does love her some Suns. And, she cried right along with me when Mario Ellie hit the kiss of death, and I broke one of her remotes. And again, I'm sorry for that too, Mom.
Well, tell us the next time we can hear you on the pod. And where can we? You've got an article up right now on Bright Side of the Sun and in Jam Session. When do you broadcast? And man, this has been very informative, man. We got to have you on. You probably see my call and put your phone in the other room. But this has been great, man. Really enjoyed the insight.
No, I appreciate it, Mark. It's good seeing you. We see each other a couple times on Media Row. You're in the better seats. I'm in the cheap seats over there at PHX Arena. But We go live after every single Phoenix Suns game on our YouTube channel at the Suns Jam Session podcast, and we also release the audio. It's the off season now, so we just go live on Wednesday nights. And then you can always read my writing at Bright Side of the Sun, where I'm the managing editor. Me and my writing team have been cranking some stuff out, really good educational stuff. If you are passionate about the Suns or just kind of casual and want to know what's going on, it's fun, it's free, and it's a good read. I'm impressed with our writing team, and I'm thankful for what they do.
Yeah, the passion comes through. So thanks for all the effort that you put into covering the local teams. Thank you for the time, and we look forward to seeing what storyline you dig up and dive into next.
Appreciate it, Mark.
The Extra Point Podcast is a production of 3TV, CBS5, and azfamily.com in Phoenix, Arizona.